Today's topic, Improving the Environment, Part 1. Hello friends, last I told you about the making of the city centers and their unique features. Today and in the next few talks, I will discuss about improving our environment. What is pollution that affects environment? It is important to identify the reasons and causes that pollute the environment and make a place filthy and stinking. Look at our railway network. It strews human excreta and urine on the tracks day in and day out throughout the country. Strangely, this practice of the 19th century, when the railways were first introduced, continues in the 21st century. It is highly uncivilized, uncultured, disgusting and a crude way of disposing human waste from our trains. It also corrodes and erodes the railway tracks and the undercarriages of the passenger coaches. Passenger coaches and the toilets stink too. Our country is notorious for being the largest open-air latrine in the world, where crores of people defecate outdoors every day in all parts of our country. The railways and all public places, for that matter, disseminate a message day in and day out to all human beings in the country that we are free to throw our excreta and garbage at our convenience. Our city sewage and filth, discharging into rivers, ponds, canals or lakes is of little surprise. Our sacred rivers are polluted and stinking, and so also the seashores and the beaches. Even ponds and lakes dry up, and it seems nothing can save them from decay and destruction. How can we then address more serious issues like water conservation and perennial floods and droughts? Most of our wonderful beaches are not developed, but whenever some of them are become sites of filth, slush and stink in the course of time, because maintenance and upkeep of sites are not done or completed just on files. With the lack of mechanism and impunity to execute work, the magnitude of filth and dirt is rising unbounded, and so is pollution. With due concern, I would like to submit that the noble mission of Honorable PM Shri Modi for constructing millions of toilets in the country under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan may not suffer the same fate with our present work culture and impunity. The toilets may dry and render unusable in course of time for lack of water, electricity and cleaning and maintenance. More importantly, regular disposal of sewage. Municipal corporations throughout the country are immune from any kind of punishment, even if the country may go to dogs, like Yamuna cleaning. Even our learned judiciary is not steadfast when it comes to government and its agencies. The greenhouse effect, global warming. For refreshing your knowledge, I would like to tell you that a greenhouse is a glass or plastic enclosure for the sampling and rearing of plants. Its effects is to provide regular warmth and heat to the plant inside the enclosure. Similar warming up is caused by toxic gases, carbon dioxide, methane, chlorofluorocarbons, nitrous oxide, etc. They pollute the atmosphere and produce the greenhouse effect, an alarming phenomenon for mankind. Now I'll tell you its effects on global warming. The accumulation of these gases allows the sun rays to come in through the atmosphere, but prevents them from getting reflected back by the earth. As a consequence, they absorb the heat of solar rays and result in warming up of the atmosphere, causing droughts, severe storms, sand and dunes. The warming up of the atmosphere also induces melting of the polar ice caps and glaciers and raises the sea level. The recent news of falling of a huge iceberg of 1 trillion ton of Antarctica, 4 times the size of London, is a huge news on global warming and threat to passing ships. Global warming also depletes the protective ozone layer in the atmosphere above the Earth's surface, allowing the harsh ultraviolet sun rays to penetrate to the Earth's surface. A 10% drop in the stratospheric ozone may cause up to 25% rise in cases of some forms of skin cancer. Efforts by all countries may be insufficient to halt this phenomenon unless the whole world substantially reduces its population, say from the present level of about 750 crore to about 450 crore in about 100 years, as discussed before. It also calls to stop further urbanization of arable lands, stop deforestation, control smoke belching industries, and petrol and diesel run vehicles. We must also practice energy conservation religiously and use only energy efficient machines and devices to contain power consumption. Paris Agreement on Climate Change to contain greenhouse gases, December 2015. It is a matter of concern that leaders like USA wishes to bow out of the agreement in the midstream. President Mr. Trump wants to withdraw from Paris Agreement for fear of economic regression of USA. Due to this, I am sure wisdom shall prevail over the speculative fear. Apropos to 1997 UNESCO Declaration, it is incumbent on part of the present generation to care for the future generations. Paris Agreement is an attempt to protect the present and the posterity from the catastrophe of global warming. The rapidly denuding of glaciers and melting of polar ice sends a shiver down the spine. Mr. Trump has also cautioned India to contain its smoke belching chimneys and shift to non-conventional energy sources. But this keeps lingering in our country. We must take the caution seriously in our own interest. The delay may prove a self-inflicting curse for India. Being a costly affair, it wants India to preserve its scarce wealth to address such catastrophes, rather than playing unconcerned of this eventuality and spending its wealth on unproductive huts, charities and dollhouse. Simply chanting to contain global warming is meaningless without tangible steps. It is incumbent on part of all nations to contribute their might to address the threat of global warming. Dear friends, for today, I will finish it here. In my next talk, I will talk how to contain pollution. Till then, goodbye and thank you. K.C. Agrawal.